Good evening. This is Tina again. How are you doing today? I'm doing fine. Okay, thank you for asking. So this video, I'm gonna compare SQL database with NoSQL database. Okay, just briefly compare. Okay, let's go to OneNote. This one, yes. First, in SQL database, next one. In SQL database, it's gonna have a schema, and NoSQL database, it doesn't have schema, schemaless. So let's talk about what is schema and schemaless. Okay, let's give example here. Suppose here I have a before that, okay. Before that, to store the information in SQL, it's gonna using table, and in each table, it's gonna have something called columns. And in schemaless, suppose here we talk about MongoDB. I ate mango today. Okay. MongoDB. It's schemaless. It's gonna using something called a collection. Okay, collection is like the table, and use something called documents. You can think about documents as an object, which is one row inside a table compared with SQL. So let's give an example. Suppose we are using the products. Okay, we have a product or product table in SQL part. Okay, and the product like we built in last week, it's gonna have ID, right? It's gonna have a title. It's gonna have what's the image, URL. It's gonna have a price. It's gonna have a description. Okay, so we can store data like this. The first product have a title which is a node and Node.js, and your image is some JPG file, and the price is 10. Description is good. If I have another book, another product too, right? Angular, and still some JPG file, and then price 20, and description is good. Okay, so if you have more, you can store more in this products table, right? And now what this is called has a schema, because for your table you have the fixed, this rows is fixed. Okay, now if you have a product comes, I want to store how about the stock? Okay, to say this Node.js, I have 10 copies available. So you can after 10 copies are sold, then it's sold out. Got it? I want to store stock. And for current schema, okay, for current table structure or schema, is there any place to store the stock, this information? Impossible, right? We don't have a column to store that. In order to do that, we have to add extra column. Then you can store this is 10, this is 20. Okay, so this is called has a schema, it has a fixed columns. If you want to expand, then you have to add new columns. Okay, so this is called a schema, and the entire thing is called a table. And this ID, all those is called a column. Like this is one column, this one column, this is one column. And this one is one column, and also these are columns. And each of this one is called a row, and each row is called a record. Okay, a record in a table. This is one record, this is another record. And let's take a look at how it's gonna be appear inside the NoSQL database, which is like a MongoDB. It still have something, but it's not called a table. It's suppose this one is a products, this is gonna be called as this product is called a collection. Okay, and what's gonna be stored in this collection is gonna be called documents. Okay, documents. You can think as in MongoDB, it is stored for the BSON type, which is an extension on JSON. So we now just think about whatever you store in these products in NoSQL, it's gonna be a JSON object, JSON string. Okay, so how to store this product one? It's gonna using key value pair. It's an object, right? ID is 1 and title is Node.js and the image URL AGE, okay, URL is some, it's a string value, some JPG, okay, and the price is 20, and you have a description equals something. Okay, good. Okay, like this gonna be one document. One document represent one product, and it's kind of like similar to the one record here. Okay, sorry, let's go to draw. This one document is equals to one record inside the SQL. This is a document. And if we store another one, you just add another document. ID equals to title is Angular, like this is string, sorry. You can use double quotes, okay. Angular. If you use single quote, it still works, but we are JSON using double quotes, okay. It's not a JavaScript object. Then you can have remaining. Okay, now the same question comes. If I want to store a product which has stock, what's going to happen? You just store it, okay? I have ID, which is 3. Title is React, okay? And then the remaining, if you want to, this one has a stock, we just give a stock. Then you give 20, like this. And you can even store A equals 2, B equals 3. You can also store like A is an array, like 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay. When in this is schemaless, okay, what you just make sure your data is a BSON type, which is a JSON type, which is like a JSON. Okay, then it's gonna work. Then each of them is a document. This is document. This is document. This is document. Just to make sure your document is a valid document. Then that's all. Any document can store in the products. This is called a schemaless. Compared with the SQL, we have the fixed columns. Okay, you just store the thing into each column. But here you can store anything you want. It's not necessary to, even though you call products, you can store A and B and C, anything you want. So this is called a schemaless. Okay. And in MongoDB, I forgot which version. From one kind of version, then you can start. You can start to have the validation, have a schema check. You can have a schema check which you force them to have some kind of schema, because suppose I want to grab all the products and display it on the page, right? These 3 should be work fine because they are product. But when I loop to these 2, there's no title, there's no image. This is kind of like a invalid product documents, right? So this is not good. In MongoDB, you can force it if you want. Second one, this is schema. Second one, in SQL, you will work with the relations. But NoSQL, I couldn't say no relation. Okay, we will say few or little relation. Let's talk about relation first. Okay, so here, suppose here I have a table called user. I have a table, have a user, and the user have a ID and have a name, okay, and have other things. Suppose ID is 1, name is Tina, okay. And now for each user on our online shopping, they can purchase something. And how to store in the information? Suppose for user 1, I purchased the product 1. Okay, how to store? You might have another table called the order table. Okay, order table, we're gonna have an order ID, and we'll have a user ID. And it's gonna have like a product ID. Okay, order ID is automatically generated. This order will be purchased by user 1. Suppose I have another user here called Edward. Okay, you're gonna purchase it by the user 1 and purchase which product? Purchase the product 1. And suppose you want to store quantity, you can have another quantity. And how many it purchased? Sorry, how many it's purchased? You can say I purchased this product too. And suppose order 1, order 2, okay, order 2 is purchased still by user 1, and it bought the product 2, and it bought one quantity for this product. And suppose you say order 3 is purchased by user 2, and he purchased the product 1, and the quantity is 1. Okay, so those in SQL database, you have your information of the data is separated in multiple tables, and those tables has relationship like one to one, one to many, many to many. Like here, we have many to many relationship between user and products, because one user can purchase many products, right? A product can purchase by many users. That's why here we have extra table to store the information here. So this is a relation, and in relation we're gonna have one to one. Okay, suppose suppose one person only has one address, then that's one to one. You have one to many. Okay, like a person can have multiple address, then it's one to many, and you can have many to many. Like this one, like a class can be taken by many students, and a student can join many classes, right? So that's many to many. But for NoSQL, it's gonna be few or little relation, because we can using embedded data, right? So what we can do is I have a user. Okay, this is a user. Okay, this is user collection. Okay, user ID, user ID, ID equals 1. Okay, name is Tina. Okay, this is one document. Okay, and suppose you want to say how many things this user ordered, you can using orders here, right? Order will contain an array, and in the array it can have each of the document, like this order ID is 1, and it purchase a product 1. You can also give the entire product here, right? And the quantity is E1. You can do like this. Okay, you can also, like we did, is the product also can be an array. The products is also an array. And let me change. Okay, sorry, wait for a second. For this order 1, it has many products inside. This one is also an array. In this array, you're gonna have a product 1, PID is 1, and a quantity is 2, and you also have another product, PID is 2, quantity is 20. Okay, and if you want to have more order, you just have a comma and have another ID, order ID is 2, then you can continue. So the information can be embedded, the data can be embedded, so there's no need for the relation. Okay, so it's a few or little relation. This is one. And next one is, since we in our SQL database, right, we have those tables, so our information is distributed in multiple tables. But for our embed, oh, here have my face here, my photo here. I hope you can see, okay. And in NoSQL, it's few, very less relations, okay. And next one, we talk about scaling. Okay, and there are two kinds of scaling. One is called horizontal scaling. The other one is vertical. Okay, let me finish writing here. Horizontal scaling, okay, and vertical scaling. Horizontal scaling is kind of like impossible inside the SQL, and the vertical is possible, and both of them is possible. Okay, let me show you what is horizontal scaling and what is vertical scaling. Vertical scaling first. Okay, vertical scaling is easy. Suppose currently my server, our database also need to install one server, right? This is my server, okay, like a laptop, okay, a computer. Then here I stored my database application here, okay. And currently our this server or this database now is almost so everything is stored in the file system, right? Which means this server is limited, okay? So far it's only stored, it's stored for 1 million data. But now for next week, we're gonna have lots of information comes, and which will increase to 2 million. But our server is limited. It cannot handle for 2 million data. What is the vertical scaling? Okay, what we do is we go and spend more money. Okay, buy a better performance. Okay, spend more money on this server, or purchase a new server which is has a better performance. Everything is big. Okay, everything is perfect. So we purchase another server and also store our database. And now this database can store 2 million or 3 million data. That's called a vertical, which is you spend more money and buy a better machine, okay, and install the software there, and which is expand the ability to store more data. This is called a vertical scaling. Got it? So vertical scaling is possible in both sides because you buy a better machine, right? And as we know, the better this server or machine is very, very expensive, okay? Then it comes to our another solution, which is called a horizontal scaling. Okay, so what we do is we have a limited amount, limited budget. Okay, we cannot, a giant server is very, very expensive, those machine, okay, and we cannot purchase. What we can do is, okay, now I have 1 million data, right? How about we buy some small, okay, not expensive server, okay, we just buy some regular server, okay, and suppose we buy 4 server, okay, this is one, we buy 4 server, and this 4 server, the cost together is much less than this giant server, okay. I cannot think about a name for that. Giant server, okay. Much less, okay. And then in this each server, I install a database, okay. And we install database in each server. And what I'm gonna do next? Okay, what I'm gonna do is here now I have 1 million data, 1 million, right? And now we will increase to 2. How about 4 million? 4 million. Okay. increase to 4 million, I will do is this one I install 1 million, and this one we can install 1 million, this one can install 1 million, this one can install 1 million. Okay, total together it's gonna be 4 million, right? And instead for vertical, yes, this one server store 4 million, and this cost will be much more than actually this 4 server. This is called a horizontal scaling, which is split our data into multiple servers. And when we place all the data in the 4 server, then it's gonna become all the information about our data. Okay, and like here, suppose this one products. This is all about products. What's the information about products? We add all the information in the 4 server. It's gonna be all the data about our products. This is called the horizontal scaling. Okay, which is distribute our data into multiple servers. But this is almost impossible for the SQL database. Think about why. Because SQL database, we have the relationship. Okay, our data is distributed in multiple tables. Think about we have a relationship, and the product is stored here, and now we also have user, and we also have the order table, And in order to find, suppose now I want to find the orders purchased by particular user. Okay, probably your user is in this table, in this server. Some of the order is in this server, some is here, and some is here. And in the order, we also need to retrieve the products information, right? And those products in each order can be appear in every the server. Okay, which turns out it's impossible. It's gonna be very slow to retrieve information if our data, like a SQL-based database, SQL-based the design, okay, that's kind of like impossible because it can be in every place, and it's hard to actually to retrieve the information I want. That's why the horizontal scaling is impossible in SQL-based database. But for horizontal and vertical scaling, both are very possible in NoSQL database, because what we did, we're using documents, okay, which means if you get the user document, okay, then you can get all the information about the order, the history, the product it purchased. You don't need to join the data in another server. That's a power, okay? We're using embedded documents inside the NoSQL, so there's no join needed. That's why horizontal is possible. Once you find the object, the document, everything is in that document. We don't need to go through other servers. Okay. I think that's it from me for the compare between NoSQL and the SQL based database. Okay, thank you for watching, and see you in next video. Bye bye.